You're watching FNN, the FUKK News Network.
This program contains subject matter and language that may be disturbing to some viewers.
No, don't move it! What is that? What is that? What is it? Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast!
Viewer discretion is advised.
SHMACKEMAGOB, it's time for the only news that matters, and I want to thank Mark Christiansen for that intro. I'm not sure if he even said SHMACKEMAGOB, but what I am sure of is that he did the awesome riffage to Into the Void. Thank you so much, Mark. That was awesome. Now, if you want to send a SHMACKEMAGOB intro, send it to this email here, and I will put it up in order as I received. And I also want to talk about, before I get into the news, a plug for my friends at the Rock and Roll Podcast. Check them out. There's a link to the description below this video, and they asked me to be part of the show, so I will be part of it in the future, so check it out. And another thing, last thing I want to talk about before I get into the news, was this really cool comment I got from Mr. Slime E. He said, "Well, this is the first video of yours I have watched. I expected to listen to a bunch of bashing, but what I heard was a lot of truth." This guy gets it. I get many comments of people saying, "You always bashing Kiss, you're not a Kiss fan, blah, 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 blah." I'm just giving commentary on the boneheaded things Paul Stanley of Kiss says. So thank you for that comment, Mr. Slimy. You get it, my friend. All right, now let's get into the only news that matters. And some very sad news. Johnny Solinger, ex-singer of Skid Row, has passed away due to liver failure. I've done a couple news reports before. There was a GoFundMe to help him out with the medical bills, and he passed away, and very sad. And I have said on the news and on my podcast and on my radio show that I like a lot of the Skid Row they did with Johnny Solinger. I know a lot of people will not even give Skid Row a chance without Sebastian Bach. And it's a shame because they did a lot of good stuff, man. And if you stick around to the end of the news, I made a video to one of their songs with Solinger, and I'm going to play it at the end of the news. And I think it kicks ass. And I was lucky enough to see him several times with Skid Row, and yes, I prefer the Sebastian Bach stuff, but I thought he was a great singer and a super nice guy when I met him. So rest in peace, Johnny Solinger. And Jeff Scott Soto had this to say about Johnny Solinger. He said, "Rest in peace, Johnny Solinger, the singer that held the 16-year tenure as the new guy who replaced Sebastian Bach in Skid Row. He held his head up high and owned the position until he departed. Condolences to his fans, friends, and family." Now, Sebastian Bach saw this tweet, and this is what he said. "Very sad when someone dies. My condolences to his family and friends." That's where he should have stopped. But no, he had to say, "He actually replaced Sean McCabe in Skid Row, not me. Hard to wake up with headlines saying Skid Row singer dies and some are using my picture. I was kicked out of the band in 1996 and they then hired Sean McCabe." Now this is a reply Sebastian got to that from Sean Mars. He said, "Actually, Sean never sang a Skid Row song and formed a band called Ozone Monday that included all members except for Baz. I know, cause it's me. Rest in peace, Johnny Solinger, very cool guy." So Sean now goes by the name of Sean Mars, or maybe that's his original name. Seriously, Sebastian, that had to be the most douchiest condolences I have ever read. And you know, in every news outlet I've seen, I didn't see no picture of Sebastian Bach. I saw pictures of Solinger. And even if there was some kind of news outlet out there that put up a picture of Sebastian Bach, does he really have to mention this? Does it really piss him off so much that he has to say this during his condolences? And also bring up the fact that this guy, Sean, didn't replace him. He was in a band with the former members of Skid Row, but they didn't play any Skid Row music, and they were called Ozone Mondays. So no, he was not replaced by this guy. He was replaced by Johnny Solinger. Wow, I just can't figure out why the rest of Skid Row doesn't want to reunite with this douchebag. Seriously, that is the worst condolences ever. Sebastian Bach now owns the biggest douche in rock. So move over, Paul Stanley of Kef and Nikki Sixx, because Bach owns your ass in doucheness. Alright, next story. KK Downing says Judas Priest threatened him with a legal action over KK Priest's name. I watched this interview in its entirety, and he said the lawyers for Judas Priest sent a letter to the record company trying to stop the KK's Priest and threatening them, but nothing really came out of it. It was pretty much just a threat, well, at least it is up to now. And also in that same interview, KK talks about how when he left Priest, he got an email from Rob Halford's management saying that Rob wanted to join a band with him and Jeff Loomis. And I find that very interesting if it is true, because KK went on to say how Ian Hill and Rob Halford didn't really back him, but they agreed, and how Scott Travis really thought that they screwed over KK, but he really is not an official member of the band. He's a hired hand, so he really doesn't have no say. And he also speculates that Ian and Rob don't think it's cool what happened, but they didn't back him. I just think it would have been awesome if Rob did a band with KK and Jeff Loomis. That would have skulled. Alright, next story. Rob Halford talks about why Judas Priest songs never contain curse words, and yet they made the Filthy 15 with Eat Me Alive on the PMRC back then. Crazy stuff, but yeah, he's right. I never heard any bad words from any Judas Priest song. Interesting. Alright, next story. Ian Hill says setlist for Judas Priest's upcoming tour will contain some surprises. And I happen to know that one of the songs they're going to play on the next tour is a brand new song. It's called Fuckity Fuck Fuck You Fucking Motherfucker. And I hope that comes to Florida. I very much am looking forward to that. Next story. Tony Iommi says he is contemplating remixing Black Sabbath's Born Again album for a future release, now that the master tapes have been found. You see, Tony has been saying for years he can't remix it because they can't find the tapes. Well, they found it. And just a couple days ago on this channel on Black Sabbath Sunday, I did a 15-minute video about them finding the tapes and what I think of the Born Again album. So why repeat myself on here? Go check out that video after you're done with the only news that matters. Alright, next story. Metallica's Black Album box set. The remastered edition will be available on September 10th in a variety of formats, including a limited edition deluxe box set containing more than 24 hours of live material, demos, rough mixes, and interviews on 14 CDs, 5 DVDs, and 5 LPs. The concert material is drawn from different shows than the ones featured on 1993's Live Shit, Binge and Purge box set. I was in jury duty when I saw this news. I was on my phone, bored, and I'm looking, and you know, I'm not the biggest fan of the Black Album, but I'm a huge fan of the tour. I saw the tour 3 times in Miami, Orlando, and Fort Myers, and it was phenomenal. And when I'm looking at this and I'm seeing all these DVDs and live shows, I'm like, I'm pulling the trigger on this, and I ordered it right there in jury duty on my phone. So I look forward to this. I'm a big fan of the Black Album tour. Not so much the album. Alright, next story. I mean, what am I gonna do when Kiss is not in the news? Seriously, every week they release something that I have to talk about. Like this, Gene Simmons says, Kiss wanted to come clean in Biography's Kiss documentary. We owe our fans the truth. Yeah, like the truth that you all were on a farewell tour in the year 2000 when a lot of fans traveled thinking it was the last time they were going to see Kiss. You don't take that to account. You won't see them talk about that in History documentary. They'll probably talk about the farewell tour, but they won't talk about, yeah, and you know, we made a lot of fans spend thousands and thousands of dollars traveling around seeing us thinking it was our farewell tour. And then Paul Stanley of Kiss said Ace and Peter requested final approval of the Kiss documentary, and he said, that's fantasy. Because Gene and Paul run the show. They fired Peter several times, Ace quit several times, therefore they have no say. But it is not fantasy for Gene and Paul to have the final approval. Oh wait, actually let me clarify that. Only Paul Stanley of Kiss has final approval because Gene Simmons is Paul's bitch. Whatever Paul wants, Gene does. Like when they hawk all that merchandise, Paul's like, Gene, you go out there and you put your faith on it. All I want is the money. I want you to look like the money-hungry musician in Kiss, not me. So I don't blame Peter Criss for saying, no, you're not going to use Beth in the documentary. And Paul Stanley of Kiss also said this today. 11 years ago today, we lost Bill Aucoin. He was so much more than our manager. He was the fifth member of the band, a rogue, renegade, and visionary. Kiss would never have happened the way we did without him. I grew very close to him later on and loved him for our deep friendship. This is the guy that he implied was a pedophile in his book. What a classy dude. Hey, you may be a douche, Paul Stanley, but you will never top the new King Douche in rock and roll. And for anybody out there wondering, yes, tomorrow on Kiss Wednesday, I will be talking about the A and Ear Kisstory documentary. So tune in here tomorrow and get my thoughts on Kisstory. All right, that's it for the news, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to donate, I got a PayPal in the description below. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And check out my podcast, the VIERA Vault and the Rock and Metal Combat Podcast. And I will be in Nashville, Tennessee on August 6th to August 8th at the Rockin' Pod. It would be awesome if you all can show up and come hang out with me and meet me and my brother. My brother's going to go with me. And all the crazy people that come every year. Every year it gets better and better, but this year will be the best if you, yes, you that's listening to me right now, will come to the Rockin' Pod and hang out with me. That would be choice. So I'm going to leave you with this now. I made this video, I don't know, maybe like a year ago or less for a song that features Johnny Solinger and Skid Row. Rest in peace, Johnny. I hope you all enjoy this. It rocks. Turn this up. This song is called Let Go. SHMACKEMAGOB.